Good evening. I'm Harry Keeling. On behalf of the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation and Alaska Public Media, welcome to Hangar Flying. I hope you've had the opportunity the last couple of sessions to listen in. We've had Doug McKinnis on. Doug's currently a captain for Alaska Airlines. And he's been talking about a hunting accident that happened a little while ago and could happen to any one of us. It's an Alaskan story. Doug fell some 350 feet, sustained some really serious injuries, and we're going to pick it up there where his friend Brian is with him, and they recover his pack. Pick it up there, Doug.
Yes, they recovered my pack, but my phone was missing, and that was the key element to getting help. I knew that there was no surviving without the Coast Guard. Brian helped me as much as he could, but I had many internal injuries, so finding a phone was a dilemma. Brian said to himself, I'll give myself 10 minutes to find it, and if I can't find it, I'm leaving. He went uphill from where I was in that 2-foot platform of below the cliff. He went up about 150 to 250 feet and found the pack. So
wasn't it amazing? Even though you found the phone at the same time?
Found the little pack, and the phone was in that pack. And he opened the pack up. The phone was not damaged. He turned it on. It worked, and he called.
So this is a cell phone. You had to have
it was a cell phone.
Line of sight coverage, huh?
It was a mistake we made, but it was what we had. And the irony of it was that where he found it was the only place the cell phone worked. After he made the call from where he found it, he brought it down to where I was, and there was no coverage. So that was the gift of God, finding the phone where it was. That was our only hope of rescuing me.
So they were able to scramble the Coast Guard right
Coast
there on
Guard,
Kodiak.
yes, Brian made the call to the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard helicopter was dispatched. The first helicopter broke. Sounds like discouraging news, but in my case, it ended up being my lifesaver.
Why was that?
The Coast Guard helicopter that broke, usually, or the rescue team or the rescue crew consists of one rescue swimmer. The cliff rescue was so dangerous that it couldn't have been accomplished successfully with one rescue swimmer. The only means of me being hoisted off the cliff was by a chest strap. And all 10 of my left ribs were fractured, and several bones were loose in my chest, and the lung was punctured and bleeding. So any chest strap put around my chest would have been my death, according to the pulmonologist. That would have crushed me. So
there was a number of things that happened that were grace of God.
Yes.
And one of them also, I mean, the fact that the two swimmers were there.
Yes.
And the weather actually at the end cooperated, didn't it?
Yes, it did. It was foggy below. The Coast Guard would not have been able to get to us. They were considering walking in for a team, but there wouldn't have been enough time. I wouldn't have survived. But the weather lifted so that the ceiling was right at my level. The helicopter hovered at my eye level down where he could hover here, so that the cliff allowed them to lower the rescue swimmers, who then climbed up to me. But both rescue swimmers came because of the time to get the second helicopter ready, and so both could be on it. They came, and he said it looked like a banana. I was dying, and I was very concerned for my well-being, but they did everything they could. They needed all three, my buddy and the two swimmers, to put me in a litter, which enabled me to lie down, and very precarious, being on a snow-covered slope 1,000 feet, and they had to hold me in a very, very difficult situation of space, the most difficult rescue that rescue swimmer has ever had. But they saved me, and the Coast Guard hoisted me up into the helicopter. They put my head forward. We all got aboard, my friend and the crew. And as the helicopter went from a hover to translational lift, my head went down and I was unable to breathe. The rescue swimmer yelled at me, "Breathe, breathe." I said, "I can't." My oxygen saturation was 50%, and I was very near death.
So you're on the helicopter, but it's not over yet, is it?
No, they took me to, I kind of like panicked, but didn't. Tried my best to keep breathing as much as I could, just puffs. And they took me to the Coast Guard Air Station, where an ambulance took me to the hospital in Kodiak where 4 surgeons, trauma surgeons, worked on me for 4 hours to stabilize me enough to be transported to Anchorage via a medevac that night.
We're going to run out of time here again, but didn't you tell me that they almost lost you a couple of times in the ER there?
Yes, 3 to 4 times the doctors thought I would die, and a good friend was praying beside my head. And
So what I want to do, Doug, is get you on another time, talk about your injuries and talk about your recovery. And thank you for sharing this story with us.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed tonight's program. And I want to ask you a special favor. If you could go on our website, aasfonline.org or aasf@gmail, and let us know how you like tonight's program, or if there's people you'd like to have on the program, if you'd like to be on the program yourself. I'd like to get a little feedback from you. So if that's possible, please take a minute and communicate with us. And I would ask you to tune in next time so Doug can tell you about his courageous recovery and how he got back on flying status with Alaska Air. Until then, fly safe.